Hey folks, welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa. Well, in a bizarre and rambling, confusing, and quite embarrassing speech given by the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Nkosazana Dalmi-Zuma in South Africa a short while ago, NDZ announced that the government, in fact, was setting the date for the municipal elections as the 27th of October, although she said the 21st of October, reading from a prepared script that anyone could have simply downloaded and read the PDF Acrobat file of. Not really sure why she went on stage there, but the production of this thing was very embarrassing with people interrupting her. They weren't sure if they were on the air. Then people taking questions and weren't sure what was happening. And in the end, we really have no idea what's happening in South Africa. But what appears to be the case, based on her presentation, speech, whatever you want to call it, is that the African National Congress, terrified that voters will finally punish it for its corruption, its incompetence, and its negligence of South African governance, are terrified to hold elections. Of course, we saw former Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke's commission last week come out with a recommendation that it's not possible to hold free and fair elections safely in South Africa. Why? Why is that? The Central African Republic has held elections safely. Somaliland has held elections safely. Niger, in the midst of assault by jihadists and Boko Haram, have held election safely and followed up with another election, a runoff for president, electing an Arab for the first time ever. About 30 African countries have held elections in the midst of the pandemic. But it's not safe for South Africa to do it? Well, I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, it is safe for South Africa to hold elections, and these are simply bogus excuses. I myself have voted 3 times in person since the pandemic began. Primaries in 2020, general election in 2020, and primaries in 2021. Safely, without any affliction, maintaining social distance and using good hygiene. So why can't South Africa pull this off? The continent's most advanced economy, its most impressive transport system, wealthiest country. Never mind Nigeria's rebasing, but honestly, wealthiest country on the continent. Why can't South Africa hold elections? Well, because it's not safe. Well, it's not safe for the ruling African National Congress. After its 18 months of failed governance under the National Coronavirus Command Council, chaired by none other than Nkosazana Dalmi-Zuma, in which they banned the sale of open-toed shoes and cooked chicken, takeaway food. E-commerce was banned. They banned the sale of transport of alcohol, destroying South Africa's wine industry, which could no longer deliver wine to market overseas for its reliable export market, which brings in about half of the profit and revenue for the wine industry. Complete incompetence, utter stupidity, every month extending the state of disaster with no justification whatsoever. They're simply doing it, violating the spirit of the Constitution with this state of disaster. And here we are 18 months later. Things are worse, demonstrably worse in South Africa under the pandemic than they were in March of 2020 or at any other point. Far worse today than they ever were. A country that sat on its duff to acquire vaccines, to do anything, to develop vaccines, and then scream vaccine apartheid in a disingenuous effort to shame the West into giving away the secrets to the castle and money. And it worked. It worked. But here we are. The African National Congress, it is unsafe for them to hold elections. Between all of that, plus decade plus of state capture and pervasive pilfering of the state coffers, one corruption scandal after another, assassinations of other ward councillors by ambitious ward councillors in KwaZulu-Natal, a disgrace to governance the African National Congress is. And now on top of that, they were either complicit or negligent or clueless in the riots and massive looting that took place in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng provinces in July of 2021. So they find themselves at a nadir of support. Virtually nobody with any common sense who is lucid, can walk, and chew gum at the same time in South Africa would dare even vote for the African National Congress at this point. So Nkosazana Dalmi-Zuma says, yes, I can't change this. We are going to have the election on the 27th of October, but we are going to ask the Independent Electoral Commission to go to the Constitutional Court to seek that this be delayed. However, that should not happen. 2 of South Africa's opposition parties have come out publicly, Freedom Front Plus, right here on Chris Wyatt Africa, and said that they oppose delaying the elections. The Democratic Alliance did so publicly, although I've not spoken to them. The United Democratic Movement and its party leader said they agree with the delay of the elections. They're concerned about people's health and safety. But the ANC is the safety issue here. They would lose demonstrably, and they're terrified of that. They're terrified of a democratic transfer of power in South Africa. That's what they're afraid of. Well, folks, we don't know what the deal is here. Most likely, it appears the ANC will do everything they can by hook or by crook to delay the municipal elections because they know they get their hat handed to them. They're scheduled for 27 October. That's confirmed today. But it's also confirmed they're seeking to have it delayed until February or later. If this election slips, this is the betrayal of democracy in South Africa. The African National Congress, which purports to have fought the struggle, one man, one vote, man and woman, stick with me here, one man, one vote, democratic governance, doesn't give a flying flip about democratic governance. All they care about is the perpetual rule of the African National Congress so they can steal, loot, and have their privileged positions of power for their elites. Their blue light escorts zipping through traffic, endangering pedestrians and motorists. Their privileged travel, their secretaries, their budgets, their gushing treatment by a fawning press. That's what they care about, not South Africans. They have done more to impoverish black South Africans than apartheid ever did, that conquest and colonialization ever did. They have destroyed the hopes and dreams of tens of millions of South Africans, in particular, poor black South Africans. Well, folks, if you're not a subscriber to Chris Wyatt Africa, hey, why not become one? Smash that button right down there. And be sure to give us a like on this video. Likes drive viewership. And occasionally, YouTube will actually promote videos where there are likes. So thank you for your time. We appreciate your support right here on Chris Wyatt Africa.